the Home Staging Association podcast with Paloma Harrington-Griffin.
Hello, and welcome to the Home Staging Association podcast. I'm Paloma Harrington-Griffin, and today we're going to dive into the world of art. But before I introduce my lovely guest, I just wanted to let you know about our news and upcoming events. On the 11th of February, we are having a webinar with Suzanne Knight of John Lewis and Partners Business about briefing to sign off. We will cover all the steps of your staging project, and Suzanne will share some exciting news as well. And on the 25th, also February, we are going to have a live webinar with Debbie Boggs of Staging Studio, in which we will cover goals and goal setting. So basically, we're going to talk about planning for the new year, because after all, it seems to be going super fast, and we want to make sure that you're on track. Some of our events are for members of the Home Staging Association only. So if you are looking to join, please visit our website and find out how you can become part of our community and unlock these benefits. Head on to our website, www.homestaging.org.uk. So my guest today has lots of interesting insights to offer. She's both a stager, an interior stylist, and an artist. Although lately it seems like the art side of it is completely taken over her life, which is very exciting, very interesting. I am talking about the fantastic Kerry Hussain. Kerry,
hello.
So nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great.
I am so delighted to have you here finally. Having originally trained in graphic design, right, Kerry, and then working in TV, and then as an interior stylist, as we know, you began experimenting with abstract works in 2018. It doesn't really feel like that long, but you've done so much ever since that it feels like it's a lot longer than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always painted, and I've always, I've always done art in some form or other. I mean, I was always more into portraits and fancied myself as a fashion illustrator for a little while. But yeah, it was only when I'd moved to this house and renovated it all, and I thought, I'll do some art for the walls. And while I was doing it, it just kind of felt really natural and came quite easily. So I sort of, and then that kind of developed, and I thought, I really enjoy this. And that's kind of when I hit upon the idea of providing art for interior designers and stagers.
So currently you have your home studio, which is very trendy at the moment, working from home. So you have your home studio, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is in London, right? Southeast London.
Yeah, Southeast London, yeah.
Okay, great. And I know that anyone that follows you on social media will have a little glimpse here and there of what your home looks like, and all the work you've been doing in your little studio and everything. I think that's fantastic. But Kerry, before we dive into the whole art side of it, I am personally quite curious to learn a little bit more about what happened before that. So you were working, well, when we first met, you were working as an interior stylist for yourself as Very Kerry, which you had such a, you still do, you have an amazing portfolio and so many beautifully styled homes, and you did a fantastic job with staging. And even then you were already putting some of your artwork into your projects as well, weren't you?
Yes.
I think I've seen a few things. Yes. But yeah, tell me, before we dive into the whole art side of it, which I think it's going to be very, very insightful, and I've got quite a few questions for you. But I want to know, how did you even get into staging in the first place?
I can't really remember, to be honest. I'll go back to the very beginning, if I may. So when me and my ex-husband, we bought our first property back in 2005.
Wow.
And it was only then when I've always I always had an interest in interior design, and I always read all the magazines and everything. But it was only when we got our first property that I really sort of started, experimenting and doing it up and everything. And I never, it's one of those things where I never realised that styling was an actual job. I used to read all the magazines and see all the lovely pictures, and I never sort of twigged that someone actually put those together, and they weren't, their houses weren't just like that. And that kind of lit a spark. And then I started, because I'd been working in TV for a long time, and I was getting very disillusioned with it. I didn't enjoy it. It was a chore having to sort of get up and go to work every day, and I sort of thought, that's not right, and I needed a change. So because I was freelance anyway, I started, I sent out a load of emails to stylists and just to try and get some assisting work to see what was involved. And luckily got picked up by a couple of the stylists that worked for Next Home.
Ooh, lucky.
Shooting the home directory. So I assisted them for a few years, and then sort of decided, right, I know enough now, I'm gonna, I can go out on my own. And then I fell in love. I tried all sorts of styling, like magazines and all sorts of different, like just sort of detail shots and things like that, editorial, but it was the property styling that I really fell in love with and really enjoyed. And so I then managed to get some work with some of around, I think this was probably around about 2012, 2013 maybe. Airbnb was just starting to sort of become a thing, and there were a lot of these management companies starting up. So I got in touch with a few of those and said, do you use stylists for your photography? And just started styling a lot of Airbnb properties and that, working with photographers, and things just happened. And then because of that, and because of my portfolio, I think it was you reached out to me then when you were starting up the HSA. I remember I got an email from you, and that was kind of my first introduction to actual home staging.
Because you're more focused on the whole styling side of it, and I think very very connected with photography, obviously, and not necessarily the more real estate side of it, apart from the Airbnb venture. But we say that things just happened, but it's not really just happened. Obviously, you worked for it, you found the connections, you found the person that had the next styling gig, and so it was organic, but it obviously just didn't just happen. But I think it was a natural flow in that sense, right?
It was.
So you're like, oh, I'm already doing it.
It's kind of felt like a sort of journey. It's been a progression, definitely.
Nice.
And then it kind of feels like, having worked in the interiors and home staging industry for a while, that's now led on to the art side of things.
It's interesting because everything is so intertwined, isn't it? So you started interest in property, and then you kind of merged into styling, and then you were introduced to the whole concept of staging, which you then started to apply as well, and then that kind of opened a new door, which is the art. So you were already working with art, and you were painting even before you were working with styling. So now I want to know about that. How did that start?
I think it was just one of those sort of light bulb moments, really. I was trying to sort of think of a way that I could incorporate both, and I was sort of thinking, art, stages need art for their projects. Where do they get it from? And started looking into that and thinking about that. And then I thought, well, that's something I could provide.
Well,
And
happily.
it kind of seems to go nicely hand in hand,
Yeah.
Because having spoken to a few of the members and everything, I know art is definitely something that they struggle with, to find A, that's affordable, and B, that's nice and looks good and is not just the same old stuff that's everywhere, like from IKEA.
It's one of those tricky things, isn't it? Because sometimes you find a really good one, but everyone has it, or maybe you've already used it in 2 or 3 projects and they've been photographed, and you kind of can't keep using it all the time, not only for your portfolio, but also because sometimes it's the same client, same developer, you can't keep repeating your inventory. Also the style of it, sometimes the style of the property, the style of the brief that you had for that potential buyer that has a certain profile, so you can't use a certain type of art, you need something different and pretty much tailored for that purpose. And color scheme, there's so much that goes into it that I think anyone that looks from the outside, just as I said, you didn't even know it was a thing and you thought that property just came like that. It's easy to see the final result and say, oh yeah, now everything has come together, everything makes sense and it looks beautiful. But for you to actually reach those results, it's so tricky and it involves so much. And artwork it's I think is one of the trickiest ones to manage to put together.
Yeah, it definitely seems to have been. It's kind of one of those things that's a bit of an afterthought, I think, sometimes. You get furniture in and you do all the sort of the nice accessories and everything, and then you think, oh, I've got nothing on the walls. And it does make such a difference, really, to have something on the walls rather than just leaving them blank. So
not just something as in anything. You want to make sure you get it right as well, because that will set the tone for the whole project at the end of the day. You can make it or break it with the artwork, can't you?
It can set the tone as well, really, can't it? So and it really kind of brings it all together, I think.
Yeah. And so you saw that gap, you identify that the need really did exist, and then you started speaking to stagers. And what was the feedback you had? What exactly did they tell you? Did they say, actually, no, I can get my artwork from, I don't know, IM5 or Desenio or IKEA, so I don't really care, or I already have a supplier, or I just improvise, or I painted myself. I do know of some stages that do paint it themselves, and sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. How was the process of getting that idea off the ground and really tweaking to the product and the whole concept that you have nowadays?
I think it was my sort of main angle was to provide original work rather than just prints. Because obviously, if you're buying prints, there's a high chance that lots of other people have them as well, or are using them. So that was my initial kind of USP, as it were. So just talking to a few of the members and seeing what they use, and I think obviously cost comes into it a lot because it is expensive, but at the same time it is necessary. So trying to find a way, a balance to provide original work that was affordable was something that I really strived for. And then I launched at the Forum in 2019. Had a little stand. It was great.
So exciting. And for those that are listening that haven't been to the Home Staging Forum in 2020, Kerry was so thoughtful, and it was so nice, Kerry, that you painted like miniatures, and it was just so cute. Just to what did we do? We gave it away to all of the attendees, didn't we? In the goodie bag. So everyone got a mini Kerry artwork that I'm sure everyone is getting. I don't think I got one for myself. Can you believe that? I was thinking the other day, I think I never got a goodie bag. It's one of those things you get so carried away on the day you forget. But But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'll get a real size original one very
I'll
soon.
send you one.
Well, and you've been sending artwork to everyone. So you've done the ones for the forum. I'm sure. I know you've been doing some commission work for some members as well, and you even sent some of your work to Switzerland to one of our colleagues in Switzerland, Verena. Yeah.
It was very. It's been. I mean, she's great. She's been very supportive.
Yeah.
And that, that was what kind of launched it all. Really, was getting the commission from her. So
yeah,
I did spend a good 2 or 3 months working on.
I think that's when it became real, right? When you get the first commission, you go like, oh shoot, so yeah, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah. It was so much fun though. It was so much fun because I mean, I know obviously my style perhaps isn't for everybody and it's not going to suit every property, but I think I'm quite versatile, so am I able to do different styles depending on what the client wants. And with Verena, she had a few different color palettes that she wanted work for, which was great fun, putting those together and then experimenting with all the different color palettes. So it was
nice.
a big job.
Yeah.
But
I saw the final result. It was brilliant. I saw the final result. It was gorgeous. I'm sure Verena was very happy. I remember because I went to visit her and help her with a project, I think a few months before that. And she had a few pieces of art there. Wow. And I was like, you know what, you should talk to Kerry, because I think she could definitely do this. But I never thought it would really go ahead, considering all the distance. I never thought, no, Kerry's not going to ship things to Switzerland. That's just crazy. But yeah, it worked. Amazing. It went well.
It was, yeah. Yeah, there were a few issues with customs at the time, but I think it all arrived safely. So.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. So and when you so you were working with styling and you also do your TV work. So I'm sure you have different routines for each type of project you're currently working at. But I think for the whole art side, because it's so creative and it can get very messy as well, I'm quite curious to understand, well, what is your routine like nowadays, and how is it different than everything you've done up until now?
I don't really have a routine, to be quite honest. I've never been one for routine. I like to just do what I feel like on the day, to be honest. But no, obviously when I'm scheduled in for TV work or when I've been styling, then I've been freelance for so long, it's just sort of natural to me now just to fit everything in as and when I can. So I know if I know I'm out and about on a job, then I'll set aside a couple of days, maybe a week, to do some painting as well. But obviously then that all changed last year. TV work disappeared completely for a few months, as did obviously the interior stuff, and that was kind of the sort of catalyst really for me to actually get on and try and make the art side of things my main income. I mean, it's always what I've wanted to do since I was little, is just to be able to paint all day and get paid for it. So
that's the dream,
so I was like,
right?
This is my opportunity. Yeah, exactly, and living the dream. So yeah, because I had nothing else to do, I just threw myself into the painting, and it's sort of really developed and really come on, I think.
Paying off.
Yeah, day to day, it's just sort of, I get up, I try and go for a run if I can. I don't usually start painting until sort of lunchtime. By the time I've kind of done emails and social media and all that kind of thing.
All of that.
I usually paint in the afternoons, so for a few hours. until
And
it gets
do you
dark.
wait for inspiration to strike, or is it something that just if you sit in front of a canvas, you're just like, yeah, no, it's coming, and just start feeling the flow and doing it? How does it work for you?
Sometimes I'm kind of, I just know when it's not going to happen. And so I think, right, I won't do anything today. I won't even bother trying. And then, days where I think, yeah, I really want to paint, I'll just see what happens, really. I don't work to any sort of specific plan. It's totally organic, totally intuitive, the way that I work. So I'll just throw some paint around and see what happens. what I do.
It's one of those things you can't force yourself into doing, because then it kills the whole purpose at the end of the day of producing those pieces that you want to be original. You want them to speak through them to the person that will be using them and acquiring them later down the line. And you want to make sure everything is really true to the pieces themselves. So you can't just force it. It has to be very, very natural.
That's one of the difficult things, is because people always ask, well, how long will it take? And it's how long is a piece of string, because you just don't know. I mean, I could some pieces I've done in a few hours, and then a commission that I was working on last year, I started it in August, and it just wasn't happening at all.
Really?
And
I
just kept on, and I kept going away from it and coming back to it, and I've eventually finished it just before Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's like, it could take a day or it could take 6 months. You just don't know, really.
Yeah. So how has it been? Have you been getting lots of commissions, and are they from interiors, staging people?
I had a few commissions last year, which was nice, but most of my sales came through work that I'd already done and that was on my website. So that was really nice. And then lately, sort of towards the end of last year, I kind of changed tack a little bit, and I've been trying to sort of hone my style a little bit, I suppose, and focus on creating work that I want to create rather than what I think people want. So that's been quite an interesting experiment, because I'm very much a fan of neutrals, as most people probably know.
Anyone looked at your projects that they've probably seen. I think that's the thing.
I love that whole Scandi style and all that kind of thing. But then every now and then I just get the urge to do something that's really bright and colourful, and it's funny how I've noticed that my style completely changes when I'm working with colour than it does when I'm working with neutrals. And that's been quite interesting to see. So
something to discuss in therapy.
Why it is. Maybe.
No, there's definitely something to it. That's so interesting.
Something going on up there.
It triggers something different. That is so interesting, Kerry. And if anyone comes to you and say, look, I've got this property, say it's a Victorian house, and it's got 8 bedrooms, and this is the color scheme that we're going for, and this is pretty much the furniture we've been choosing. Can you come up with some pieces for this project specifically? Is this something you can accommodate, and how involved are you in actually telling people, okay, this is what it should look like, these are the colors that I think you should have? How does this process work? I don't know if you have had many of those before, but how would you see this working? Collaborating?
So basically I've got I do have a service, as I did provided for Verena, my art package service. So I can sort of provide a quote based on how many pieces you need, what sizes you need, and and that kind of thing, and the time scale involved. And that's a sort of a special sort of interior designer's package that is then obviously heavily discounted from what my normal work would be. But usually I like to visit the property if I can, and work out sizes and where things are going to go, and because I find a lot of images I see, the artwork's always like it's either the wrong size, it's too big, or it's too small, and it's a little bit of a bugbear when you see sort of a big wall and it's got this tiny little artwork on it, and it just, you think, well, why haven't you put something bigger there? But,
what happened here?
measuring up is very important. So I like to do that if it's possible, obviously. Okay.
So basically you can help as much or as little as someone needs you to help. If they want to have your input on, okay, you need this size frame, or you need this color piece of art, and you need this amount, etc., and this style, or whatever it is, you're happy to give your input when it comes to that.
I mean, normally the way a commission works is, the client can have as much or as little input as they want, really. I mean, I will send pictures along the way, and that just to make sure you're happy with how it's progressing, and if you want me to sort of add anything or take anything away, and just keep the communication lines open. But some people just say, just get on with it, and
just manage
nice.
it. That's good. Almost like having a limited budget, right? Just do it. But it's a dream, because then you can literally just do whatever you think is best. So that brings me to my next question, Kerry. So what would be your tips on choosing the perfect piece of art? Keeping obviously interior design or staging projects in mind. How is it choosing art for a project? How does that differ from choosing it for yourself? Because some people go, no, I love this is great, and then they think they can use that at a project, and that's not necessarily how things go, right?
No, because obviously when you're choosing art for yourself, it's very personal, and it's almost led from the heart, isn't it? You see something and you think, I love that, and then most people will have sort of several different types of artwork in their homes, I would imagine. But obviously choosing it for a staging project, it's kind of got to tie in. It can't be too overpowering. It's almost sort of just a backdrop. So it's kind of, I would say, keeping it fairly toned down, and so it's not something that's just in your face as soon as you walk through the door.
Oh God, yeah. I think it's a little bit of having personality but not being personal, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I would assume that most stagers would probably opt for the sort of abstract style anyway, because it is fairly neutral.
It's a safe choice as well, isn't it?
It's a safe choice rather than something that's quite specific, or sort of an Andy Warhol print or something like that. It's very, it would, again, like, as is the whole point of staging, you need to appeal to the most amount of people.
Exactly.
So you need you don't want to put people off just because you've got a piece of art that they don't like. So keeping it sort of simple and fairly neutral, I would.
And I think art can be so impactful, so I think it's definitely something people need to keep in mind, that when it comes to that, less is definitely more. And I don't mean quantity, but maybe intensity and how people will respond to that. Maybe not having like a bright red naked woman abstract sort of artwork at the very entrance of the house. It might be you might want to steer away from that. No. Maybe not. And Kerry, what is your favorite type of artwork to work on? I know you like your neutral. Sometimes you like
I
the
do like
colorful
my
stuff.
neutrals. Yeah, I think that's it really. I mean, for me, it all comes down to the color palette. I'm inspired by the color palette rather than anything else. So if I'm liking the colors that I'm working with, it's generally a good sign that it's going to go well. It's funny because I did find I do struggle with blues sometimes, because blue isn't one of my favourite colours at all, and I find it quite difficult to work with. Although, having said that, I have produced quite a few blue pieces, and I'm actually, they're pieces that I've actually been quite proud of. So it's funny how it goes really. But I would say, the sort of pale neutrals and sort of pinks and greens I quite like working with.
And I'm guessing that the neutrals are also the ones that sell more when it comes to having your work purchased by people that are working with interiors. So is it always the neutrals, and I would guess maybe greys and blues, maybe?
I think blue is very popular. And not so much green, but just and metallics as well. If I can put, I do like to put sort of a bit of gold or silver in some of my work as well, which is always a nice touch, I think. And that those sort of ones are quite popular. But it's interesting that everyone has different tastes. A lot of people like neutrals, but then there's always the people that like color as well. So
and also I think it's a geographic thing as well. I know that say if you go closer to Scotland, all the projects that I see from our members in Scotland, they've got all of this very bright, colorful artworks everywhere, matching the cushions or the throws, and it just, that's just how they do it. And understandably, they do need a pop of color, considering weather there is not necessarily as great as in the rest of the country. Not that the rest of the country is like Mediterranean, but I think it's slightly different there as well. Whereas London, people tend to stick to a more neutral, more sober sort of style.
I always think the sort of the neutrals palette is slightly more elegant as well. So I think perhaps, for London properties or properties that are of a higher marketable value,
it is the safest choice, isn't it? It's always a safe choice. So Kerry, tell me, what will be your advice for anyone that's looking to start out as an artist, or want to start doing some painting, or as a stager or as an artist? What would you tell them, or what would you tell yourself, say 10 years ago?
I think the most important thing is to just do it. I put it off for so long because I was sort of, what if it's no good? What if people don't like it? And the only thing you can do is just do it and put it out there, really, and just keep doing it, because it would be so easy to give up if you thought, no one likes it. But there's always going to be somebody that will like it. So I think, perseverance is definitely key. You'll have days where you think, why am I doing this? I'm no good, and all this sort of the self-doubt creeps in, and then suddenly things will change, and so you just have to keep doing it. I think that's the most important thing.
Basically,
just give it a go.
Persistence and being positive, focusing on the positive side.
Yes, definitely. And just do your own thing, I think, really. I mean, it could be very easy to try and imitate other people, or, like I said, I tried for a while to sort of create work that I thought was what people wanted, rather than just doing my own thing. And I think if you're doing that, then it's a bit soulless and a bit,
Yeah.
you sort of lose the love for it. So just
Yeah.
follow your own style and do your own thing.
I think at the end of the day, it's what they say: be yourself, because everyone else is taken. But also, when you were talking about just doing it, and I think letting go of fear as well is very important when it comes to that. You just need to get on with it and do it. And most people tend to focus on, oh, but there will be so many people that won't like it, or what will I do if people don't like it? But you said something very interesting, that you actually, instead of focusing on, oh, there will always be someone that won't like it, you actually focus on the positive side, which was there will always be someone that will like it. And I really like that, because we need to focus on the ones that will like, and the ones that we will be serving with whatever we do in our lives. I think we all have our purpose, our mission, and we need to focus on the things that we can do for the world or for people, and that's through our work or through our gifts. What you have is a gift, obviously. And if you don't follow what you feel like you should be doing, and if you're afraid, and if you end up not following these steps and following through with what you feel like you should be doing, and doing your art the way you think that should be done, you're not really delivering anything real to people. You're keeping your gift, you're keeping your what you can be of service away from people. You're not really giving them any of that.
I think,
and that's not even fair. It's not fair to people, because they won't have access to the real goodness that you can offer, and it's not fair to you either, because you won't be true to yourself. So I think there's a lesson there, isn't there?
I mean, if you stifle your own creativity by trying to do something that's not natural to you, it's just never going to work, really. And I think that's the key, is to not compare yourself to other artists and say, oh, I like what they're doing, maybe I should do that. And it's like, well, it doesn't work like that, because they're doing that, so that's already been done. Do your own thing, and work in your own style, and it will just flow much more naturally, which is definitely what I've found over this last year.
It has been flowing for you, hasn't it? And I have
Developing
been following you for a while now. I think anyone that has been following you as I have, I think we could see that tipping moment of like, okay, now things have taken off. Now she's found the rhythm, and now she's off.
Definitely. I think that's the thing. It's like I've noticed, I have noticed that my work seems to have a bit more of a maturity about it these days, because I'm more confident in myself, and I'm more confident with my work. So and I think that really is starting to show through. So again, it's just a case of not looking at anyone else, and not comparing yourself, and all that kind of thing, and just staying in your own lane and focusing on your own thing.
No, you're right. So what's next? What's next for Kerry Hussain art and goodness?
Wow. Exciting things.
Any future projects?
I'm working on a spring collection at the moment, which I'm hoping to launch if I ever get a delivery of paint that I'm waiting for. I'm hoping to launch that in sort of maybe the end of March. But I'm also planning this year at some point to try and launch a print collection.
That's nice, Kerry.
Will be aimed at stagers and interior designers, just purely for the fact that you can then buy over and over again. And it's not, I don't have to keep
creating. That is fantastic. I think it's good to have that option. It's great to have the option of getting an original one if you want to, or commission and bespoke and all of that. But also if you want an easy print and buying more quantity and have a
And
your
it's
signature
obviously more
pieces is great.
affordable.
Yeah.
It's more affordable that way. You can buy, more. So I'm sort of looking into that and planning that at the moment. So
That
maybe
is
keep your eyes
very
peeled for later
exciting.
on this year.
Oh yes, please do keep us posted. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Oh, can't wait to see it. No, that is great. Oh my God. Soon enough, we'll see you in some famous catalogs and
Oh, that would be nice.
websites and wholesaling. How exciting would that be? Huh? I can totally see that
Yeah, I
happening.
would love
You've
that.
got what it takes. That is
Thank you.
fantastic. So, Kerry, tell me, how can people get in touch with you or even see your work? I know you're very active on social media, but maybe they just want to see your paintings as well. Do you have them on your website? Do you want to maybe leave us with a few contact details and instructions?
Yeah, everything's, I've got an online gallery. So I rebranded last year, and I've launched a new website, which is now just kerryhussain.com. So all my work is on there. And then I'm on Instagram, kerryhussain.art, and Kerry Hussain Art on Facebook as well. So
Great stuff.
That's where you can see everything and shop everything.
Yes, most importantly. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if anyone's interested, I've just opened my commissions book for the year as well. So I'm now able to take on new commissions. So if anyone's got any questions or just wants to talk about how I can help with artwork, just
what do people need to have in terms of information and details if they want to commission? Should they tell you roughly quantity, sizes, colors? What would you require?
Not necessarily straight away. I mean, I'm always happy to have an initial discussion, and then just go through what the property is and what your requirements are really. So and then we can take it from there. So just have a chat.
Okay, sounds easy enough.
Yeah, it is. I'm very friendly.
I bet it is. Kerry, it's been so lovely. I've been watching your journey from afar for a while now, and I think
you've been a big part of it. Thank you very much.
Like pushing you, go, Kerry, do it.
Yes, yeah. You made me do it.
Just do it. Done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Do it.
Done is better than perfect. That is now my mantra.
Pure pressure, poor thing. No, I think it's been great to see your journey and how you've moved from one thing to the other so gracefully, and how things are going so well for you as well. I think I can speak for anyone who's been seeing your journey as well, and all the HSA members that I know we're all very close with and have been following your journey as well. I think everyone is very, very happy to see where you've come and how far you've come and the beautiful work you've been doing. So it's very nice to see. So well done. And I'm very happy that we managed to have this chat, because long overdue. We should have done this a long time ago. And I'm happy we finally managed to do this. And I also hope it was helpful for people listening and watching. If you're watching it, I think there's quite a few tips here and there that can be useful. And hopefully they can get in touch with you as well to get more tips or more ideas for the project. So you're 100% available.
100% available, 100% of the time. Yeah. And hopefully I'll see you at the HSA forum next year.
Oh, fingers crossed.
You never know.
Oh God. Oh yeah, fingers crossed. I'm really missing being with people and being with the members. We know how fun it always is when we get together. So hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. You'll be there as well. Otherwise, we'll figure something out online, and we need something soon because it's been far too long.
Yes, definitely.
Kerry, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. everyone, if you're looking to connect with Kerry, make sure to follow her on social media or to check her website. Otherwise, get in touch with the Home Staging Association. We can also help you to get in touch with her, or for any other information on projects or suggestions on courses or events, or basically just industry information and anything home staging wise. Do get in touch with us. www.homestaging.org.uk. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Kerry, very much. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Home Staging Association podcast. Please visit our website for more content and information, www.homestaging.org.uk. See you next time.